As we get further and further into using ontologies for product development, as I mentioned and asked the last question, is it true that we would, by necessity, have to get further away from technology and more toward, I don't want to say humanity because that sounds pretty broad in scope. What I'm saying is understanding the human needs rather than focusing on a technology to solve a problem. Does that make sense? I mean, somebody jump in and maybe help me with that question, because it feels like, based on what I was listening to Frank, based on what we're going, it's like, realistically, we don't need any more technology people. What we need are psychologists, and what we need are people who understand the human condition, or we need our,
Okay.
Frank's case, gaming experts. So yeah,
Yeah,
Frank.
our strategy is, this is not a technology problem. My team does not make a technology. My team's product is the model, the thing it's the understanding and the knowledge, and that we happen to have a this model of data graph underneath us, or this technology under us is a way in which we do that. But at EA, I have dozens of content management systems. I have multiple engineering systems. I have commercial game engines. I have handmade game engines. I have a whole bunch of different things. And so at least at a company like EA, we can't be focused on the technology. I don't have technology conversations. I don't say, I'm building this technology for you. I say, I'm building this model of the world for you, and I will give it to you and you can implement it in your technology. And we have staff of knowledge engineers who help with that. So they're like a hybrid between a software engineer and an ontologist. And that's what they do, is they bridge that gap between the software engineer who doesn't understand or doesn't really care about data, and the ontologist who doesn't want to write code, right? We have specific roles in our organization to bridge that gap.
Yeah.
Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely agree with what Frank said. Like, this is fundamentally a human and like cultural problem that to kind of understand like the curation of knowledge as a first class thing. Something Frank said in his earlier answer is, we don't think you'll survive as a gaming company without doing this. Like, I actually kind of project that out broadly. Like, I don't think you'll survive as a company without doing this. I think we're kind of seeing an awareness grow that that every company is going to have a team of ontologists, ontologists on staff, and going a little further than that, any solution to kind of any solution to this is going to be isomorphic with an ontology-based solution, and likely and it's going to be isomorphic with building this on the RDF OWL stack that already exists. Like, at some point, this technology has been hard to get adopted because there's a learning curve to it, and you kind of have to really feel the pain and be willing to make the big investment in order to go this route. But everyone is, the size and velocity and diversity of data that people have at hand to deal with is forcing everyone to face that. What we, how we look at this, when we go into a company, we definitely lean heavily on this cultural, you need to actually bring your subject matter experts, your folks to the table, participate in this. And the fundamental thing you should care about is not buying our software platform. It's the asset you're building out the other end. The trick, my point of view on this, kind of given the kind of product that we're selling into the market, but I think it's kind of more broadly applicable to thinking about the development of ontologies, is we kind of have this point of view that every company we talk to wants ontologies, but I think a lot of them are still maybe 3, 4, 5 years away from actually realizing that. And so what we kind of observed is the way this is best expressed right now in this moment is there's this drive to make use of AI, but most folks don't have a handle on their data enough to actually do so effectively. And so they're driving to get these data catalogs. Metadata management is where their head is at, in terms of, if I could just understand what's in all my physical data systems, my folks would figure it out. And that's somewhat true, and that's a good next step. What we looked at is said, well, everyone's going to go do that, and then in 2-3 years we'll be back here again, and they'll have to go start over again. What we wanted to tackle was, look, let's come in and sell you the product you think you want. Understanding your physical data assets, what you have, how it maps to business glossaries, valuable goal. Let's go build that. But ultimately, if that's just pretty words on a screen, a nice UI, you're going to be no better off in 2 years after having fully deployed that than you are today. If while we're doing that work and curating that knowledge and engaging your folks to kind of capture what they know about their data in some formal structure, we're actually emitting out the other end of it data, that the raw materials for that ontology, when you're ready to kind of make that evolutionary step, you're that much further ahead of the game. So that's kind of the journey we try to go on with our customers, but it's very much, you know, as exactly as Frank said, like, it's like, look, our tools can help you, but you're going to make an investment in terms of like bringing your best people who know your business and understand your data and your content to bear, or this won't work.
Right, that could even mean hiring PhDs in philosophy or comparative religion or linguistics, as Morgan mentioned. I mean, it's bringing in people that we otherwise would never have thought of in the past, who now are ideally suited to develop this kind of thinking and this sort of model.
Definitely, but just to the point, but most companies they're not going to hire that person. They're still, you know, they need to see an ROI on kind of the being nudged in this direction before they're going to make those commitments. And I think everyone eventually falls, but it's just how do you kind of get that drive.